Welcome, everyone. Welcome to this session. I'm going to be talking about Zero Trust, and we're going to see it in action by looking at some of our solution. And this is a demo session. I'm going to give you a little bit of couple of minutes context, and I'm going to show you 3 use cases, how Zero Trust can be applied to the 3 real use cases, where for this demo session, I'm going to be showing the recording. I'm trying to see if I can show you the real application because of the Wi-Fi, but we can also have a conversation later. So let's get started then. So we all know that we used to work in most of the companies, so we used to work in office work, and we are seeing that there's a shift in a hybrid work. I just want to ask you, how many of you are working in a hybrid model? And you see here, like most are at least 70%. And we did at Parallels, we also did a survey with our customers. And we just asked, like, what is your current workforce model last year? And out of that, 77% are working in a hybrid. And another question we asked our customers is, what does your organization work model look like? Do you use a public cloud or not? And to answer to that, like most of our 64% of our customers are also using the hybrid cloud. What I mean by hybrid cloud is they have an on-premise and also some kind of a cloud. So what is the deal here? To use your cloud solution, most of the SaaS cloud solutions, you have to use your browser. And browsers are main threat to cyber attacks. And also, if you do a misconfiguration of your connecting your on-premise and on your cloud solution to make it kind of work in a greater experience, you're going to get into misconfiguration, which can also lead into cyber attacks. And today I'm going to give you a quick introduction. How many of you know Zero Trust? Okay, to some of you who don't know what Zero Trust is, I'm going to give you a quick analogy, and then let's take a look into 3 use cases, how we can use Zero Trust to make extra secure your applications or resources. I give an example of an analogy of what Zero Trust is. Let's understand what is without Zero Trust. How does it look like? The best analogy is like a castle, and castle has a lot of rooms, and you got only a security guard who checks your ticket, and it's only the security you required. And that's the model pretty much you need it when you're working in an office work mostly, and you got a firewall to control your security. But well, now we are in a hybrid way of working, and to order to work there, we need a Zero Trust way of security. To understand what Zero Trust security is, in this example, I'm going to use a museum. Museum as an example because museum has got a lot of monuments which are precious, and you need to preserve it, you need to secure it. And you got for example, there's an extra layer of security here. With Zero Trust, you're going to get an extra layer of security because you got some monuments which are sensitive and secure, which has to be protected. And you want to, let's say, a person is an employee of a museum who can manage those resources. And even if they want to access those resources, there's an extra security layer here. And what they do, they're going to show you the ID card. Hey, I work here in this museum. I want to work with there. But that's not sufficient. That's not sufficient. There's an extra thing which Zero Trust requires is a recording. You want to see who accessed, who entered what, and when. And there's going to be auditing. And if you apply this analogy to your digital assets, you got a workspace, you work in a day-to-day in the resources, and you got an extra layer of security. You need an extra layer of control. Who needs to access what? And it can be a desktop, accessing a virtual desktop, or accessing any files. you need these extra layer of security, which brings, how do we control that? Especially if you're dealing with on-premise assets, applications, and desktops. So in this next 3 use cases, I'm going to talk about how this extra layer of security is going to play a key role. The first use case I'm going to show is providing a secure access of medical records to external user or external contractor. Imagine a medical healthcare or a hospital wants to provide some medical record like an X-ray or a medical report of a patient to analyze to the expert outside their hospital. How can they do it? One way to do that in a zero trust way, I'm going to show you how we can do it with a Parallels Secure Workspace. Parallels Secure Workspace is a unified secure workspace which enables zero trust. And I'm going to show in this demo how you can secure your assets and how you can provide more password protected and how you can enable if you wanted to share your assets to the external users in a secure way. And this is a browser-based, and you don't have to install anything. The external users don't have to install anything. They just have to open the browser. It can be, they might be in the operation theater. They don't have their laptops. They can open their mobile device, or they can also open their tablets. And that way they can able to see and access the asset. And now I'm going to show you the demo of this securing. In this example, I'll be sharing you a resource to the external user, how I can do that. I'm going to select, in this demo, I'm going to select a simple record, a medical report, and I will be sharing that medical report to the external user using just a public URL link. And for this demo purpose, I didn't use any passwords to protect, but you're going to see in this interface, you can also enable password. There's going to be a lot more configurations you can do that. So let's see it in action. And this is the workspace I'm talking about. This is a browser-based workspace. You can see it's a Chrome browser I'm using. So it's a browser-based workspace. Oops. I just want to play again. I'm going to my files. In this file, you can see here, I got a demo use case. I'm referring my medical records for this demo purpose. Now I'm opening my reports. I'm one of the medical reports. Oops, sorry. For some reasons, I want to control the flow of the video, but let me see. Or I will try to explain it while showing. So I'm opening the report, and now I'm selecting one of the records. In one of the record, now I can share this record to the external user. Now I could write more details about, hey, I need some, can you please provide me more details, context. And I can also set an expiration date and a time. And I can also control, hey, it's only a download or a preview. I have more granular control here. And for this demo purpose, I'm making this public, but it can also be more user-specific or domain-specific, or I can enable for example, I'm just going to get this link. And now, we can just pass this link to the external user. For example, here, they will be able to see this medical record. And that way, you'll be able to control your on-premise, for example, your record can be shared in a more secure way. And you could also see that, I can see that which all public links I've shared. And I can also kind of disable them whenever I want so that my sensitive data is prevented. I'm only giving access for a temporary purpose, and I can also provide a password. And that way, you can enable zero trust, kind of extra layer of security, your sensitive data to the external users for a time constraint. And let's look at another example. This is just a record files. What about the virtual desktops? Like, what about the security of virtual desktops? And in this second use case, I want to talk about the electricity infrastructure. A unit or a company wanted to debug some of their issue with their system, but they don't want to give access to their desktop because it's a secure, because it is used to control the production of like switching on controlling the electricity in the city. So how can I provide a zero trust way sharing my virtual desktop so that I know that if I should just share the screen or grant the permission to edit it? So you're going to see in this example. So here, I'm again logging into Parallels Secure Workspace. Now I'll be opening my virtual desktop. You're going to see it's going to be desktop. I'm going to opening my virtual desktop, but now I wanna share my access, my virtual desktop. What I'm seeing here, I want to enable session sharing so that I can share it with a IT consultant who can debug and help me out, figure it out the problem. And again, I can make password protected. For this demo purpose, I just enabled it without password. Now I can share this link to the external IT consultant, and they can open, for example, here. And I'm just providing you some sample name they can provide. And whenever they join, whenever there's a request, I also get a request. So that way I can grant the permission or I can refuse. And they're literally going to see everything is happening on the browser. And once I grant the permission, and they're going to see what's happening and follow the conversation. And you're going to see literally the same screen. They'll be able to see it. And that way, that IT consulting company, external company, can be able to assist, hey, what's the problem? And how we can fix it. And once the problem is fixed, you can just close the session, and they will no longer be able to access the session. For example, they literally see what's happening, this IT consultant and at our electronics company. So they're happening at the same time. And you can literally see it's a mirror because I'm sharing that session. And now I can decide to terminate this session once the issue is resolved. And this external IT will no longer able to access this virtual desktop. This session is disconnected. OK, the last example, the use case I wanna talk about is providing a secure SaaS applications to your external freelancers. And as you know that the SaaS apps are growing, the adoption of the SaaS apps are increasing every year. And with this hybrid model, we are seeing that a lot of companies are working with the external contractors or freelancers for temporary. But they're still working on a sensitive data. And how can we make sure that even if we are using the cloud solution, SaaS applications, how can we make sure that we are giving a right user and right access? For this demo, I will be using something called as a parallel browser isolation, which is based on remote browser isolation technique. Basically, you got a public internet on the cloud, and you got an end user device. It's a browser. Instead of browsing on your browser itself, you're just passing that request to the parallel browser isolation. That's where the rendering happens. It's like you're browsing on the container. You're just streaming, just like you're streaming your Netflix movie. You're just streaming the screens. But the rendering happens on the cloud. And you see that there's a lot of cyber attacks. And even if there is a cyber attacks, it's going to happening only on the cloud. And it's never going to reach on the end user device. And let's going to see how we can configure such simple application. Before doing the demo, I'm going to share that a little bit more details. The malware or the cyber attacks going to happen on the container itself, not to the end user. And you as admin can have a granular control. And you could, any request which goes to their public and gets, it will be rendered here. Just only the safe content will be streamed back to the end user device. So let's take a quick example. So in this example, I will be showing parallel browser isolation, where I'm going to configure a Atlassian Jira application to the end user. And you're going to see how they can access Atlassian Jira and how you as an IT admin can see when they access, what permissions you can give them. So here, it's going to be, I'm going to log into my admin. I'm logging in as the IT admin. Now, as the IT admin, once I log in, I can add a new application. In this new application, I can specify, hey, I would like to add a new application called Jira, demo Jira, and I can give some description. I can also add some icon, and I can also define what is my start URL. On that start URL, once I give my start URL, you could see I could also specify user, and it's already warning up, hey, you're not selected any user, so that you're going to give only specific access to those users. So now I didn't enter, so now I enter the URL. I'm going to save, and I'll try to open that application in my end user interface. This is what the end user is going to see. And now it is no items are published. And OK, now I have to see if because my user was not added, so I'm going to adding my user now. So I should be able to see that now at least. OK, now I see that's demo application. OK, now when I try to enter, you see that the page is blocked. The reason is when you enter Atlassian or this application, it's taking into ID authentication, because this ID, the URL domain is different from what I'm trying to access. So that's why it's blocking by default. So what can I do? I can add allow domains here. Now I'm going to add this domain. Hey, it's allow. It's OK because I need to authenticate. I'm allowing this now. And let's see how it works. OK, let's wait. Yeah, now you see, now it opens the authenticator. But now, as an IT admin, for me, that's not enough. I want to see, because these SaaS applications also has our client's sensitive data, and I want to protect them. I want to watermark them. For example, you see here, it's watermarked. Even if they try to take a screenshot of this SaaS application or customer sensitive data, it is watermarked. And you're going to see that in this auditing tool, who accessed when and what. So that way, you as IT admin can take further actions or see based on the insights. It will be helpful for you to see, hey, this user is trying to access, so suspicious any activities are there. And with policies, there are many categories and many customizations you can do. So this is just a simple example. And with that, yeah, you could also basically have a group of external users, and you can have a lot more configurations you can do here with this parallel browser isolation to kind of securing your SaaS application. And we saw that Jira application is secured and given only access to one particular user. Before I open up for questions, I want to say thank you for attending this session. And we are Parallels. And we got a bunch of solutions. And if you want to talk to us anything about Parallels Secure Workspace, what you saw as a use case example, or Parallel Browser Isolation, happy to discuss. And we got a couple of colleagues, and we also have a booth there. Happy to discuss and happy to have open conversation. Thank you very much for attending.